Hey there, I'm Nivmiz and I like to make games. A little over a month ago, I released my first commercial game, a speedrunning parkour game called Singularium. And by most standards, the game can be considered a massive financial flop. But that's not really how I see it. I won't keep you waiting on the numbers. So far, the game has sold 316 copies, earning a gross revenue of $2,103 and after refunds and taxes, the net revenue is $1,603. I'll get into some more in-depth stats in a little bit, but first, I want to address the elephant in the room. Considering the fact that the game took 10 months to fully develop, $1,600 is not a lot of money. If indie game development was my full-time job, I'd be punching the air right now, but I'm not. In fact, I'm pretty overjoyed. I see game development as mostly a hobby for me at the moment, and seeing something that I created be played and enjoyed by hundreds of people is just incredibly rewarding. That's not to say all the feedback was positive though. The percentage of positive reviews quickly dropped from 100 after launch, even taking a short stint in the mixed review category, before finally settling on 73% of 26 reviews, where it's been for the last few days. A lot of the more to-the-point feedback that I got from Steam reviews was pretty useful, and seemed to come from a genuine want for the game to improve and succeed. I of course worked a ton after release on adding requested features, like leaderboards, ultra-wide support, graphic settings, and more. And the response to those was pretty positive, so I feel like the game is going in the right direction. Okay, back to the numbers. At launch, Singularium had 3,100 wishlists. Most of these came from my YouTube channel. As you can see here, there was a massive spike when I first announced the Steam page, with steadily declining wishlists when the video I made announcing it started slowing down view-wise. Each subsequent spike was a devlog that I made, but after the first couple, they didn't really have a profound effect. The little spike here is what Steam Next Fest got me, and here's the last video I made pre-release. Funnily enough, that video alone got me nearly twice the number of wishlists that the entirety of Next Fest did, in the first day. Now, I'm not saying Next Fest isn't worth doing at all, because it's basically free wishlists and attention for your game. But I do think that among developers, it may be just a tad overhyped. Of course, this is based only on my experience with a single Next Fest, and it may very well be that other people will have very different looking numbers after participating. So take my opinion with a grain of salt, but I think for smaller devs who don't have dedicated budgets for marketing, I think focusing on getting your game out there, mainly through social media, at least at first, might be a better idea than relying on festivals and Steam events. This last big wishlist spike came after release. The first week post-launch, I was getting nearly 100 per day. I assume that this is because people were shown the game in the discovery queue, but they wanted to wait for a bigger discount before buying it. Speaking of the discount, I launched the game with a base price of $9.99 USD, with the maximum possible launch discount of 40%. Since most Steam users only buy games that are on sale, I chose to set the full price a bit higher than what I actually wanted to charge for the game, and I plan on putting it on sale as often as I can. I know stuff like this can come off as shady sometimes, but for smaller indie devs, this kind of thing is pretty standard. And I don't feel it's too misleading, because I think $10 is also a fair price for what you get. If you're a gamer and this annoys you, I apologize, but if you're a developer, I 100% recommend you do it. When the discount ended, my sales numbers dropped significantly. 277 of the 316 sales happened in the first week, while the discount was active. According to Steam, 5.1% of my wishlists converted into sales, which I think is fairly low by Steam standards. I hear 10% is usually the magic number for this. I think maybe a lot of the wishlists were other game developers that watched my videos and wanted to support me, but who weren't actually interested in buying the game. This is obviously to be expected, considering 90% of my marketing was just this YouTube channel. But despite what a lot of developers say, I think devlogs, or at least my devlogs, have a decent audience of actual gamers who bought the game, and that's shown by the fact that the conversion rate is still 5% and not much lower. 51 people returned the game, and their comments are usually less constructive than the normal negative reviews in my experience, but I still try to take what I can from them and use them to improve the game. Still, some of these comments left by people who are returning the game are hilarious, like one person who apparently had their brother buy it while they weren't paying attention. Anyway, here are the playtime stats. Median playtime is 30 minutes and the average is 1 hour and 3/4. Even though this is considered very low, I'm pretty happy with it. 30 minutes is more or less how long it would take to beat all the levels without replaying at all to get better times. But the people who play like that aren't really the target audience for the game. It's a speedrunning game, so the ideal is that some people will play it for hours on end, replaying levels until they've gotten the perfect time. After seeing how competitive the leaderboards are, plus this big gap between how long people play, I think that a lot of people did play like that, and that makes me feel like I accomplished my goal. To wrap things up, I want to make it clear one last time that even though these numbers might be considered small in the grand scheme of indie development, I'm incredibly happy with them. For my first commercial game, I feel like I truly did accomplish something, and I couldn't have done it without you all. So thank you. I'm working on a bunch of new projects that I can't wait to share with you all, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel, join the Discord to chat with me in the community, leave a like and comment sharing your own sales or anything else that you'd like to mention. Until next time, see ya. Big thanks to my patrons, Carter Lowe, Evie, Spygun21, and Sewerman.